Hello fellow beings, how you doing? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever given a thought to the thoughts you carry in your mind? Are your opinions toward things around you truly yours? Have you ever questioned yourself why you think the way you think? Yes, most of us do this at certain point in our life, right? But then we keep it aside and move on. And why, you ask? Because we were never taught how to think. Instead, we are just trained on what to think. What is right, what ideas to follow, what to do and what not to do, and at the end, as you reach your adulthood, you become a product. Yes, a product with hopes and emotions in the form of expectations attached to it. You may say, what's wrong in being this kind of product? Well, the whole what to think process involves feeding a person with factual learnings. With time, if not corrected, these becomes ideas which get so rigid that you disagree and fight with other ideas who, just like you, have been fed with their own facts of right and wrong. And that's the first lesson mentioned in this book by Shweta. You are a product with hopes attached, and that parents need to teach their kids on how to think rather than what to think, so that you turn out to be a better product. Yes, the product label on you will always exist. Now the next question we ask is, what does he mean when he says to teach the kids on how to think? It's not as complicated as it sounds. Remember when you were a child and were curious about everything and anything? You used to ask a lot of questions. But most of the time, to feed your curiosity hunger, you were given a packet of information. Initially by your parents, elders, followed by friends, internet, movies, TV, etc. And this became your method of thinking. You didn't learn to doubt, question, or form your own opinion. Let's take an example. Say someone asks you how to impress a girl. In your mind, you try to recall all the knowledge you have read or gathered through videos about what girls like, what girls want, etc. etc. And these packets of information make you believe that you know the answer. And no one knows if it's even true. You were fed with info, you accepted it, and never questioned it. The curiosity of finding out has been replaced by the satisfaction of knowing. Now, if one packet of info doesn't work, you go in search of another. You are just relying on these packets instead of thinking it out yourself. We are habituated to receive solutions and information from others. Then how do we expect ourselves to know how to think? How to think is basically not knowing what to think. To not just rely on data or information available, instead applying your analysis to it. A person with more information or data is just knowledgeable, not intelligent. The moment you apply your thoughts and analysis into your knowledge is when you are considered intelligent. Now that I spoke about data, let's jump into another chapter. People are weird. Every person must have heard this age-old saying, first impression is the best impression. That was some bullshit thrown at you in your innocent days. Most of the times, the first impression is a salesmanship, where people who, like we said, our products are selling themselves to you. So never go by the first encounter. Unlike animals, whose impression and behavior is constant, humans tend to change their based on environment. Hence, always go by the long-term data. Also, by thinking people as weird, you're protecting yourself from unwanted hopes and disappointments as a result of unrealistic expectations. So now, you need not say that so-and-so person is complicated, as he looked fine yesterday and today he was rude to me. Well, we don't know what's going on in someone's life. So by characterizing people as weird, you're taking control of your own mental state. Because you now need not go around and understand each and every person. What you only need to understand is yourself. Talking of self, let's move on to our next chapter, how your self dies. In this chapter, we discover where exactly we leave our self behind to let it die. And to know that, we need to understand a concept called approval, which is a dangerous thing. When does it start? Well, as a kid, you want to prove yourself that you are capable. But then you are still a kid and you look for an authority to tell you that you are capable. They may be your parents, teachers, elders, anyone. So you rely on them to tell you that you are capable. Now, to prove to yourself that you are good enough, you start doing things whatever they like. Your inner voice becomes secondary and their voice becomes everything. Also, as a child, you have no idea what to do in life yet. So you start looking up to someone whom they respect and try to do or pursue the same career as this someone, which is again very tricky. If you are able to achieve it, you are happy that you will be liked and respected by them. And if not, your self-worth in your own eyes reduces to zero. Whatever the case may be, the problem is your individuality takes a hit. When you like someone, you seek their approval. And this, my friend, can destroy you. Let's imagine a time when you did something of which you were extremely satisfied and proud of. You went ahead and presented it to someone whom you like or look up to. It might be your teacher, parents, boss, etc. And they thought it was just okay or mediocre. And now the thing which just a while ago you were proud of becomes just a piece of shit. It broke your heart. And with these kind of experiences, you start to lose trust on self-satisfaction. Instead, now your satisfaction comes after their approval, and you start working in direction that will make them happy. The intensity of your inner voice now slowly reduces to mere whispers. How do we overcome that? By the lesson in the next chapter, titled Screw Pleasing People. It's normal to expect people to like you, but the question is, till what level will you go to impress them? Does your self-worth comes from self? No. We depend on others to know what our worth is, and this is generally done in 3 ways. Validation. Validation from someone whom you look up to. You know who they are and you care for their approval in everything you do. Number 2. Making yourself feel superior to others. By doing what? By showing off. When people start praising you, it feeds your ego and you keep repeating it. You start doing things just to look cool and interesting. Number 3. Comparison. You compare yourself to others and create a battlefield in your head where it is you versus them. You get happiness when you defeat them or perform better than them, and vice versa. What you don't realize is you have given the control of your worth or happiness to someone else. Remember, if you rely on others, you are controlled by others. The final chapter which I am going to discuss from this book is titled You Are a Nation. This is how you have to see yourself from now on. You are a nation, not a person. Other people are other nations. Your parents, siblings and friends are neighboring nations. So you may need to consider of having good relations with them. Yourself is the president of the nation. Your moral code and rules become your constitution. Self-control is the security force that enforces rules and morals. Desire, urges that cause harm are terrorists. Now just imagine, will a nation ever give its authority to any other nation? No. In the same way, you know your nation, as in you, very well. You and only you can understand and should be responsible for all the governing factors in it. Yourself should be the only authority. Yes, you can follow other nations as in other people's advice, criticism, and even take their help, but never let anyone take over you. You cannot control others' opinion and thoughts about you. In fact, they are busy in handling their own stuff. It's your ego which thinks that the whole world is watching you 24/7. The only thing you can control is your actions and thoughts, and just do that. And do it well, because you are a nation. So these are a set of lessons and understandings from the rudest book ever. For more deep insights, you can read the book. Link is in the description. Please do like, share and subscribe for more such book summaries. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.